Hello. We're gonna go over the skill demonstration 2. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to do 3 variables in a contingency table. So we're gonna do marital status, citizenship status, and gender. We're gonna look at all 3 of these. Marital status will be our response variable, and citizenship status and sex will be our explanatory variables. Let's see how this is done. So I've already filtered the age, 28 to 34. I have the 3 highest citizenship status is already filtered. I'm going to go and make a contingency table. So the row I'm going to use, I can use any of my variables. So I'm going to use citizenship. I could use citizenship or I could use sex. The column is the response variable, and this one is sex. So to be clear, the only thing you have to make sure when you're doing the contingency table is that your response is in the column and that you're doing row percents. Switching citizenship and sex is fine. I'll show you how they look 2 different ways. So this one here, what you're getting is you have females, and then you can see their citizenship statuses, and then males, and you can see their citizenship statuses. You can flip it around and put citizenship status here. And there's advantages and disadvantages. We're going to do more with this data, so it's not really that important right now, but here it's like you can easily compare, males and females for a given citizenship status, their percent married. Here you can look at all the females and compare the different citizenship statuses and how they're married. So both have their advantages, so you have to kind of decide what you want to do with it. Now, the next thing that we want to do is the problem. Okay, so inherently the problem with this is a very big table for someone to look at. It's a little hard to look at. So can we simplify this table, and can we create a graphic for this table ultimately? When we look at marital status, married kind of stands out as like the dominant characteristic. Of course, there's other things like widowed, divorced, separated, or never married. But we're seeing that in most of these samples, it's like 50% are married, and the other percent is pretty much never been married. And then there's 3 or 4% that are widowed, divorced, or separated combined. So we could look at the percent that's never been married, or we could look at the percent that's been married. I usually choose to look at the positive, I guess. The fact that they got married. The negative, the not being married, is like the negative, the 0, and married is the 1. So I look at the married group. So this becomes like what we do here is we focus on one single level of our response variable. This will make our analysis a lot easier. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a little screenshot of this so I can see just what I'm interested in, the percent married. And I'm going to take this over to a spreadsheet, and I'm going to work on it from here. So I wanted to get all the data here. This is just the quickest way to do it. You could do it other ways, but this was a fast way for me. Now once it's here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own contingency. I'm going to create my own table, but it's a very interesting table. The table is going to be the proportion married. So I'm going to have the citizenship status level. So we got born in the US. We have naturalized, and we have not a citizen. And we're looking at the percent of these groups that are married. But we have females that we will be looking at, females and males. So born in the US, it was 40.8% of females were married. Naturalized females, 52.7. And then not citizen, females that were not citizens in this age group were 77.8. And this is percent married for 28 to 34 year olds. Now we're going to do the same thing for males. We got 31.1% born in the US married. We got 49.3% of those that are naturalized are married, and 61.7% of those that are not citizens that are married. So I can create this table. I might want to, I don't need probably the multiple decimal points here. And actually, if you think about it, we're probably good with just a single decimal point. We'll probably be, I mean, having no decimal point, just rounding to the nearest nearest whole number. So this is a pretty nice table here. We could, I would do it like, I would go and copy this and then I would paste that into my spreadsheet. Didn't look as nice as I would like it, so sometimes what you find is the copy feature is not really the best. So what I often will do instead, I'll just do an actual screenshot to get it to look exactly the way I had it here. And again, you might want to do it natively inside of the slide, because I don't know, I didn't like how this looks. This looks a little bit nicer for me. Okay, so then the next thing is, can we make a graphic from this? So you should be able to highlight what's here and insert a chart. This is a pretty nice chart. We want to give it a title, so you can click on any of these features here, and maybe I'll just go grab the title I already got. This is % married. So we have a pretty nice little table, a pretty nice little graphic here. The only thing that I would maybe think about when I look at this is, we don't have labels. You have to hover over to get the numbers. So one thing you can do is you can go to edit the chart and you can go over here to customize. You can go to the series and you can add data labels. And I think that adds quite a bit to the graphic. And we can talk quite a bit about what's going on here now. This is pretty nice looking graphic. The thing about this graphic is it's really emphasizing the differences between males and females based on citizenship status. And we can also see the differences in marriage rate based on citizenship status as well, but it's a little bit harder to do. So one thing we might want to do is copy this table. So I'm just going to copy it, and then I'm going to do something called paste transpose. Transpose will change the rows and the columns, and now I can highlight this and go insert chart, and it didn't fix it the way I wanted it to. So there is this ability to switch the rows and the columns that you might have to do. I'm kind of surprised it didn't do that for me, but the thing is, like, this is software, so sometimes the software does it the way you want it to, other times it doesn't. I was not expecting this to be the same thing because I thought it would default the other way, but this will get you what you want once you click on that switch rows and columns. If not, you might have to play around with it. It's sort of the issue of working with the software, especially when it's like an auto create your table. We can go through one of the features if you want to do it by hand too. If you look at this type of chart, you'll see that the style, chart style, I thought it would tell us what kind of chart this was. Setup. Oh, so it is called this column chart. So when we get into here, we could again go and you can go over to here and go to edit the chart, and you could customize it. You could go into series and you could add your data labels. Now, just to kind of emphasize what I was trying to say here again is this graphic here, if we just compare the two for a moment, this graphic here definitely highlights the differences within females. So born in the U.S. to naturalized to not citizen, you can see that it's a very strong relationship. We're seeing that as citizenship status changes, we see the percent of women that are married changes, starting at only 41% for born in the U.S. and rising all the way up to 78% of the same age group of women that are not citizens that are married. Men do the same sort of pattern where it increases as we go from born in the U.S., naturalized, over to not citizens, but it's not, I don't know, it looks a little bit like a faster growth. It's a little bit of a bigger difference as we go from naturalized to not citizens. And so you can say, well, okay, well, if I wanted to compare with, I wanted to compare males to females, then I would look here and I would say, well, there's less males that are married compared to females for all three citizenship statuses. But the difference between them, it's 10 percentage points here, it's 4 percentage points here, and it's 16 percentage points here. So we're seeing that the difference is greater here in an absolute sense. It's a little difficult to kind of ascertain which one has the biggest relative difference. My guess would probably be this one, because 31 to 41 is an increase of almost 30%. And this from here is not as much. I don't know what it is, 16 over 62. All right, so that is all for right now. I hope this helps you.